So Ravens flock in the midst of a disgustingly bad season. One bright spot that is honestly going somewhat overlooked in my opinion is what Derrick Henry has been able to do despite this terrible situation that we find ourselves in. So you look up, despite uh, the worst offensive line in football, despite coaches that for whatever reason continuously take him out of the game in key moments for no reason at all, or I'm not going to say for no reason, but for dumb reasons. Despite all of that, Derrick Henry, as of right now, has the sixth most rushing yards in the league with 1,025, the fourth most touchdowns with 10 rushing touchdowns. He's averaging 4.6 yards a carry. And this has still been, in my opinion, a very successful season for Derrick Henry so far. He became the fourth running back in NFL history to have at least 1,000 yards and 10 touchdowns in at least 7 seasons in the NFL, further solidifying his Hall of Fame case. Now, this season didn't go as well as we would have liked for Derrick Henry, but we all had extremely high and clearly unrealistic expectations due to what he was able to pull off last year. Because last year for Derrick was truly a miracle, not because Derrick's not good enough to put up a lot of yards. We all know Derrick is good enough. He's elite enough to put up a lot of yards. But just the fact that he was able to manage to put up so many yards behind a garbage offensive line. Now, unfortunately for Derrick, EDC and Harbaugh continue to allow this O-line to deteriorate and just be as garbage as possible. So now, same O-line came back the very next season for the most part, and they are even worse than last year, which damaged what we were hoping he would have been able to do this year. As we all know, over the summer, there was a brief moment where Derrick Henry revealed that he's a big Adam Sandler fan and that he would like to be in an Adam Sandler movie. And basically, the whole Adam Sandler ended up coming out and saying, hey, if Derrick rushes for 2,000 yards again, he will definitely be featured in this movie, or featured in any movie. And considering what Derrick pulled off last season, many of us assumed that could still be on the table. And with the way Derrick started the year off in Buffalo with the $168, it seemed like it was on the table. But obviously, like many different things with this team, things fell off of the rails, and this season just turned into one big roller coaster, one complete mess of a season. But in my opinion, I still think this was a very impressive, successful season for Derrick considering the circumstances. He's still right now 6th in the NFL in rushing yards, and we all know at any moment Derrick could break out for a big game that could easily shoot him right back into being the top 3. Again, he has the 4th most rushing touchdowns. He has the 8th most explosive 10 plus yards runs of this season with 23. He also is doing this at the age of 31, which to me is the most exciting part, because we often forget that Derrick is still fighting for running backs. Many of these star running backs are still fighting for running backs, whether it's Derrick Henry or Saquon or Jonathan Taylor or a lot of these guys, because again, as we all know, running backs have pretty much gotten the short end of the sticks the past couple seasons due to the fact that teams don't want to pay or invest in them long term beyond a certain point. But Derrick is helping crush that stigma when you look at what he's able to do at the age of 31 in a time period where many people thought that he would fall off of a cliff. He's out here defying what many people thought was conventional wisdom when it comes to how running backs' career trajectory normally plays out. He's proven that that's not necessarily the case. And he's, again, considering he's running behind what I believe is the worst offensive line in football, an offensive line that's so bad it dramatically limits the ways that Todd Monken and this offense can actually run Derrick or any running back, and he's still able to produce at an elite level. Like, even when you look right now, Derrick is still one of the leaders in the NFL when it comes to the amount of yards he's averaging after contact. And this is also while he's in a position where, out of all the top running backs in yards right now, he by far is facing the highest number of average defenders in the box with 7.95. So more often than not, you could almost guarantee it's 8 people in the box dedicated to trying to stop Derrick. They're trying to stop Lamar too, obviously, but of course they want to stop Derrick because they know if Derrick gets going, trying to tackle him is just going to be too scary of a task. They're not going to want to do it. But again, it's blowing my mind just because of the fact that there's many people that I've spoken to in recent months who have they're not Ravens fans, but they've gone out of their way to say that Derrick is falling off. They think he's washed. And to me, it's very clear these people are not actually watching the game. Because if you watch these games, you would be more so impressed that Derrick is still managing to squeeze out the yards that he's able to squeeze out behind this offensive line. But I definitely do think what he's doing is being a bit is just being unappreciated or taken for granted from outsiders, but also from the Ravens flock, because even just as recently as a few weeks ago, you had many Ravens fans who were suggesting that we switch to Keaton Mitchell and make him the RB1, which was just a ridiculous idea. Even though Keaton Mitchell is good in the role he's in, he's obviously not better than Derrick Henry. And unfortunately for Keaton, he's also not as durable as Derrick Henry. When we saw this just this past game against the Steelers, where unfortunately Keaton suffered a knee injury. It doesn't seem to be too serious, but he may be dealing with that for a little while. But in the case of Derrick, he's that type of durability and that vision that's necessary to be able to squeeze out the yards he's been able to squeeze out behind this offensive line. To me, I think it's been a massive success so far. He's still on pace to put up 1,300 yards behind a line this bad, while also playing in a very inconsistent offense where Todd Monken and John Harbaugh take him out of the game in key moments for really just a dumb reason. Because again, Derrick Henry is a solid enough pass blocker to where you could keep him in the game if you really wanted to. And then also he's a solid enough pass catcher to where you could keep him in the game if you wanted to. I know he had that bad drop in the Steelers game a few days ago that if he caught it, that probably would have been at least 50 yards. However, overall, especially once the game started to get tight, I never truly understand why they refuse to put Derrick Henry in the game. They rather roll out with Justice Hill and Rasheen Ali in these moments. But either way, let me know. Have you been excited with what Derrick Henry has done so far this year?